Session 7, January 25th, 1981. The service available for Ra to offer those who call them is, well, equivalent to the square of the distortion or need of that calling, divided by or integrated with the basic law of 1 in its distortion. This indicates the free will of those who are not aware of the unity of creation. We must integrate all of the portions of your social memory complex in its illusory disintegration form. Then, the product of this can be seen as the limit of our ability to serve. We are fortunate that the law of service squares the desires of those who call. Otherwise, we would have no beingness in this time or space at this present continuum of illusion. The thought of a maximal consideration of what is possible to assist those that call for help is given. The square is sequential, 1, 2, 3, 4, each squared by the next number. An example would be if 10 entities called for Ra's services. Ra would square the numbers 10 sequential times, raising the number to the 10th square, which equals, well, approximately 1012. The entities who call are sometimes not totally unified in their calling, and thus the squaring is slightly less. So there is a statistical loss over a period of call. A Ra is called personally by 352,000 people on Earth. The Confederation, in its entire spectrum of entity complexes, is called by 632 million of our people on Earth. These numbers have been simplified. It, however, constitutes a great need which we of all creation feel and hear, as if our own entities were distorted towards a great and overwhelming sorrow. It demands our service. I am Ra. We do not calculate the possibility of coming among your peoples by the numbers of calling, but by a consensus among an entire societal memory complex which has become aware of the infinite consciousness of all things. This has been possible among your peoples only in isolated instances. In the case wherein a social memory complex which is a servant of the Creator sees this situation and has an idea for the appropriate aid which can only be done among your peoples, the social memory complex desiring this project lays it before the Council of Saturn. If it is approved, quarantine is lifted. I am Ra. The members of the Council are representatives from the Confederation and from those vibratory levels of your inner planes bearing responsibility for your third density. The names are not important because there are no names. Your mind, body, spirit complexes request names, and so, in many cases, the vibratory sound complexes which are consonant with the vibratory distortions of each entity are used. However, the name concept is not part of the Council. If names are requested, we will attempt them. However, not all have chosen names. In number, the Council that sits in constant session, though varying in its members by means of balancing, which takes place what you would call irregularly, is 9. That is the Session Council. To back up this council, there are 24 entities which offer their services as requested. These entities faithfully watch and have been called guardians. The Council operates by means of what you would call telepathic contact with the oneness or unity of the 9, the distortions blending harmoniously so that the law of 1 prevails with ease. When a need for thought is present, the Council retains the distortion complex of this need, balancing it as described, and then recommends what it considers as appropriate action. This includes 1. The duty of admitting social memory complexes to the Confederation. 2. Offering aid to those who are unsure how to aid the social memory complex, requesting aid in a way consonant with both the call, the law, and the number of those calling, that is to say, sometimes the resistance of the call. 3. Internal question in the Council is determined. These are the prominent duties of the Council. They are, if in any doubt, able to contact the 24, who then offer consensus, judgment, or thinking to the Council. The Council then may reconsider any question. A semi-undistorted form of the Council of Nine has been retained by Henry Puharich and Mark Probert. The quarantine. The Council of Saturn has not allowed the breaking of quarantine around the Earth, even though there is a certain amount of UFO contacts with planet Earth, some of them being a group known as the Orions, which are negatively oriented. Secondly, there is permission granted not to break quarantine by dwelling among us, but to appear in thought form capacity for those who have eyes to see. Thirdly, permission was granted in which the first nuclear device was developed and used for Confederation members to minister to your people in such a way as to cause mystery to occur. The mystery and unknown quality of the occurrences we are allowed to offer have the hoped-for intention of making your peoples aware of infinite possibility. When people grasp infinity, then and only then can the gateway be opened to the law of one. Orion's intention, well, their intention is to presumably unify by choosing the distortion complex called elite from a social memory complex and then enslaving by various effects those who are seen by the distortion as not elite. There is then the concept of taking the social memory complex thus weeded and adding it to a distortion thought of by the Orion group as an empire. The problem facing them is that they face a great deal of random energy released by the concept of separation. This causes them to be vulnerable, as the distortions amongst their own members are not harmonized. And this is how the negative polarity works. The Orion group densities of the mass consciousness are varied, like the Confederation. The Orion group has very few third density, a larger number of fourth density, a similarly large number of fifth density, and very few sixth density entities comprising this organization. They are about 1/10 Ras at any point in the space and time continuum, as the problem of spiritual entropy, the measure of disorder within a system, causes them to experience constant disintegration of their social memory complexes. Their power is the same as Ra's. The law of one blinks neither at the light nor the darkness but is available for service to others, and service to self due to free will. However, service to others results in service to self, thus preserving and further harmonizing the distortions of those entities seeking intelligent infinity through these disciplines. Those seeking intelligent infinity through the use of service to self create the same amount of power, but have constant difficulty because of the concept of separation, which is implicit, not consciously aware, in the manifestations of the service to self, which involve power over others. This weakens, and eventually disintegrates the energy collected by such mind-body-spirit complexes, who call the Orion group, and the social memory complexes, which comprise the Orion group. It should be noted and really carefully pondered and accepted that the law of one is available to any social memory complex which has decided to strive together for any seeking of purpose, whether that's service to others or service to self. The laws, which are the primal distortions of the law of one, are then placed into operation, and the illusion of space and time is used as a medium for the development of the results of those choices that are freely made. So, all entities learn no matter what they seek. Everyone learns the same, some do so rapidly and some, well, a bit more slowly. I am Ra. This is the last question of length for this instrument at this time. You will recall that we went into some detail about how those not oriented towards seeking service for others, yet, nevertheless, found and could use the gateway to intelligent infinity. This is true at all densities in our octave. We can't really speak for those above us, as you would say, in the next quantum or octave of beingness. This is, however, true of this octave of density. The beings are harvested because they can see and enjoy the light and love of the appropriate density. Those who have found this light and love, or love and light, without the benefit of a desire for service to others, still, by the law of free will, have the right to use that light and love for whatever purpose. Also, It might be worth mentioning that there are systems of study which enable the seeker of separation to gain these gateways. This study is just as difficult as the one we've described to you, but there are those with the perseverance to pursue the study, just as you desire to pursue the difficult path of seeking to know in order to serve. The distortion lies in the effect that those who seek to serve the self are seen by the law of one as precisely the same as those who seek to serve others, for aren't all one. To serve yourself and to serve others is really a dual method of saying the same thing if you can understand the essence of the law of one.